All right, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a little bit since I have recorded. I've been really busy. I helped start another company for my brother-in-law and got some ownership equity in it. So I've been really absorbed with that and some of the other big projects that I've been working on. I want to talk about a topic that has visited me in the past, what I do, the different things and tactics I do to kind of overcome it. If you haven't watched the podcast before, the purpose of this is to document lessons that I've learned throughout life for my son and for my future children. It's also, again, if you don't have a dad or a strong role model or a strong male model in your life, hopefully this helps you. I would consider myself hopefully a strong man and trying to be a good husband and a good father. So again, I'm documenting a lot of the lessons that I've personally learned and how I've applied them to my life, different skill sets that I've picked up, and also to kind of document my journey. It's another kind of big piece. I think it's really important. If you're not being retrospective, if you're not documenting the things that you've learned, you have the tendency to lose those things. So something that I've dealt with throughout my life is depression and fighting it, getting into spaces where you feel like you're cornered and your back's up against the wall. I've been in those places. I've been in those times, and it's a lot of troughs and valleys, and then a lot of peaks and highs. Life is going to continually kick you down. There's going to be instances that you have to deal with these type of things, and a lot of it is God molding you into the man that you're supposed to be. Trials, you either bend and break, or you fight against it. There's only really what you can control when you have to deal with certain situations, right? What path are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to be depressed, or are you going to choose to fight and move through it? You can have feelings. Your feelings don't dictate who you are. You can overcome your feelings and your emotions. If people are telling you, now, I'm not talking about chemical imbalances. If you genuinely have a chemical imbalance in your brain, you're depressed for no reason at all, that's different. I think a lot of what this current generation that's going through and what I see of a lot of young people right now, it's not a chemical imbalance. It's that life sucks, and it's that bad things happen and issues come up, and a lot of people just fold and they break and they're just like, I don't know what to do. I think a big part of that is because they don't have Jesus Christ. They don't have God. If you have God and you have a fallback, God takes care of you. And you also know that this life is temporary. That this is not all that we are. This is not our end being, right? So when we deal with problems here, if you focus on God, you realize, man, it's really in the perspective of eternity. Whatever I'm going through right now is nothing. God's got you. God talked to, I think it was Solomon, and said, look at the field, look at the birds, how I clothe them, and how else will I take care of you. I think that's really important. God promises to be a strong foundation for us. He is a stronghold that we can run to. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. Those are things that we think about as Christians when we're fighting depression, when we're dealing with these challenges, when life kicks you down, right? Whether it's career, whether it's a relationship that's ended, or people are treating you poorly, this is what you have to lean on and focus on. I had a career decision. I got a job offer. The company that I'm with right now is tough. There's some things that we have to overcome, and I had an easy way out. But you know what? The easy way is not always the right way. So I got on my face before God. I fasted. If you're dealing with depression because you don't know what you're to do, fast. Get on your face before God. Don't eat. Drink water and pray. And when you're supposed to be eating, when you're supposed to be ingesting, get on your face before God and pray. God will speak to you. And if you genuinely open yourself up to hear what God has for you, someone's going to come to you, someone's going to focus on. And for me, it's not about putting out a fleece. So, there's a story of Gideon. He put out a fleece to test God and said, if I'm supposed to do this, make the fleece wet and make everything else around it dry. And that happened. And he's like, I still need another sign. Make everything else wet and make the fleece dry. And he did that, and he was testing God. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying get on your face before God and ask for direction on what your will is. Not questioning what God's will is, but getting clarity on what God's will is. And sometimes it's wait, and sometimes it's, hey, it's going to suck for the next year. It's going to suck the next 5 years. It's going to suck the next 10 years. But you know what? I will be with you always. I am with you to the end of the age. That's God's promise to us. So regardless of how challenging and difficult it is, God is with us. God overcomes depression. Jesus Christ overcomes depression. The Holy Spirit that dwells in you, if you're a Christian, overcomes depression. If you're fighting depression, and again, genuinely not chemical imbalance, but more the situation that you're in, go to Jesus. If you are not saved, if you're not a believer, look into it. Because a lot of times, God gets our attention by bringing challenges in. When I'm on, a lot of times I'm not spending time on my knees. I'm not praying. I'm not seeking God. But when I get beat in the face and I feel hopeless and I don't know what's going on, you know where I find myself? I find myself on my knees. And a lot of times it's because God uses that to draw us in. He's using it to sharpen us, and he's using it to show, I am with you always. And regardless of what challenges you overcome, I am still here. You still have food, you still have a roof over your head, and maybe you don't even have those things. But know that God is with you always. That is the most important thing and the only thing. So Koa, you'll see me go through struggles. You'll see me fight as your dad. I'm not going to hide things from you. I'm going to show you the rawness of what it means to be a strong man, Christian man in the world and in the United States. And I hope that you see what I do and you emulate that. And you go, man, my dad works really hard. I'm going to do that. Hey, he messes up in these areas. Don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from what I do well, okay? And something that I think I have done well by the grace of God is that I have drive. So, again, I think that's part of it to overcome depression. Other things that I've done other than getting on my face before God to fight depression, exercise is really important, lifting weights, getting by yourself, listening to music, find something that's enjoyable. If the situation you're in sucks, find something that you enjoy, whether that's fishing. And there's a lot of really, really inexpensive or free things that you can go do. Go on a walk, go on a run, go fishing, go hunting, get out in nature. All these things will help fight depression and help you get that clarity in that mental state. And again, know that you can overcome your depression. Know that it does not consume you. Know that depression is not your identity unless you allow it to be. Unless you say, man, I give up and I fold to this depression. I'm going to lay in bed and I'm not going to work. That is your choice. You are choosing that. Again, outside of chemical imbalances, you are making a choice that you don't want to fight it. I'm not saying your situation doesn't suck. I'm not saying, you might have lost a father or a mother or another family member. You could have just lost your job. You could be out of savings. All of those things could be true. But there's still, what are you going to do about it? When you think about the situation you're in, write out your options. What can you do? And if you don't have one, pray for an option. Pray that God gives you direction. Pray that God gives you a window for you to crawl through. And God has a promise. He will never leave us nor forsake us. Never. Never. So if it looks like everything's shut, you best believe God is going to open up a window for you. And there is an importance around what we're dealing with that is making us depressed. So that we can, and don't forget it. Don't forget what hurt you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't have memories, but know that whatever you fought through, other people fought through and survived. And also, it is a lesson for other people. And if you show that lesson to people, then whatever you went through was not in vain. There was an importance. There was a reason behind it. But that only comes if you're actually going to do the work. So again, son, eat right, exercise, be around friends, family, hobbies, and prayer. First and foremost, prayer and supplication. First and foremost, that is how you fight depression. So if you're fighting and you're being depressed, call a suicide hotline if you get to that point. If you need help, drop me a comment. If I can help, I will. If you need something financially, if I can help, I will help. Okay? So drop a comment, follow. You can also direct message me. I believe in my socials, you can find my email. Reach out to me there. I'm here for you. I've been there. I've had instances when I was younger that I want to put a gun in my mouth. But you know what? God saved me. God helped me drive forward. God's given me prosperity beyond all that I can comprehend. And even though I feel stressed out a lot of times with the work that I do, I know fully and truly that God has my back and I can trust him. So you don't trust me, trust God. Trust God. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your week. This is Motivational Memories. Please like, comment, share. I hope that this lesson helps you, and I hope you have success in life and in business. Have a good night.